Welcome to Not My Reality. I'm your host, as always, Str8. This is going to be a quickie in the you just can't make this shit up category. Let's get right to it, shall we? We hopefully all heard of jailhouse romances. That's where these women, they fall in love with some real scumbags. They communicate, develop relationships with these psychos, many times marrying their jailed Romeo. Guys like Chris Watts, Scott Peterson, shit, even Ted Bundy had hundreds of females vying for his attention. Rosie O'Donnell has one such special friendship. Hers, though, just happens to be convicted parent killer Lyle Menendez of the infamous Menendez murder trials. Yep, that Lyle Menendez. Let's take a look at this strange friendship. It's a parody. If you don't have a sense of humor, go. Welcome. Is this my reality? Is this your reality? Support the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and smash that notification bell. Otherwise, I'll give Rosie your address. Rosie O'Donnell. Now, I'm just going to tell you what's going on. I'm not going to give you any personal opinions on this woman. So let's get to it. Rosie, she's looking back at her life, and the comedian 63, she recently detailed having a friendship with Lyle Menendez, 57, who along with his brother Erik Mendendez, 54, was convicted of the 1989 murders of their parents Kitty and Jose Menendez. Quote, he started calling me on a regular basis from the tablet phone thing they have, O'Donnell told the New York Times on Saturday. He would tell me about his life, what he'd been doing in prison, and for the first time in my life, I felt safe enough to trust and be vulnerable and love a straight man. That's a lot to digest right there. Now, the brothers were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in 1994. While discussing the crime on Larry King Live in 1996, the former talk show host, O'Donnell, said she believed Lyle and Erik's claims of childhood abuse and molestation by their father, and that the killing their parents was just an act of self-defense. After her appearance, O'Donnell received a letter from Lyle that, quote, thanked her for her support and stated his belief that she knew from personal place that what he was saying was true. O'Donnell herself had experience with the subject, alleging to the outlet that she and her siblings had been molested by their father. At that point, I had not ventured anywhere near this in my family or in my therapy, O'Donnell continued, before admitting she'd outright Lyle back at first. It wasn't until 2022 when the siblings case gained new life on TikTok following a documentary, and the comic reached back out. O'Donnell explained that she had heard from the prisoner's wife, Rebecca Sneed, what is this, some kind of weird love triangle or something here, who contacted her to see if she was interested in speaking with Lyle. Since then, the pen pals have had consistent communication, with the first phone conversation lasting more than 3 hours. O'Donnell admitted that at first, their contact sparked concern among her friends. She shrugged at the fact that, quote, he's a murderer, and went forward with visiting Lyle in prison. And if that wasn't enough, it gets even weirder. The America alum told the Times that she spent 2 weeks commuting daily to the prison. Lyle also talked O'Donnell into getting a dog for his son Clay to a prison program he was involved in. The inmates working on the project trained dogs to go home with disabled veterans and autistic children. Clay was paired with a Labrador mix that was trained by a man who was in prison for armed robbery. I noticed the difference in Clay immediately, O'Donnell said of her son's bond with the pup. I was shocked to find out that tall stories I had heard from other mothers of autistic children were true. Meanwhile, Lyle and Erik are still behind bars in the United States, but they're now seeking a resentencing. After 30 years behind bars for killing their parents, the court is scheduled to make a decision on resentencing after hearings on April 17th and 18th. Many of Lyle and Erik's relatives showed up to the courthouse Friday to show their support during court and ask for their freedom. Lyle and Erik have taken full responsibility for what they did, and for decades now they continuously shown their insight through their actions, not just their words. Their cousin Ana Maria Barak told reporters following the hearing. But during the hearing, prosecutors claimed that the brothers have never admitted their lies, and they've shown absolutely no remorse for their actions. And Rosie O'Donnell, well, she's recently moved to Ireland following Donald Trump's presidential win. She says, I miss many things about life there at home. I'm trying to find a home here in this beautiful country, and when it is safe for all citizens to have equal rights there in America, that's when we will consider coming back. I'm sorry, I couldn't even say that with a straight face. Look, am I the only one that finds it funny that when these absolute batshit crazy celebrities, they want to leave America? Why do they always go to a whiter country? Rosie O'Donnell is a fucking mental patient. She lost grasp on reality decades ago, and these two brothers, let's be honest, they've always creeped me the fuck out. What do you think? Is this just a nice gesture of friendship by a celebrity to a poor guy who had abusive parents and is just a swell guy? Or is everyone involved in this story, what's wrong with this in reality? We treat the insane like they're sane. Leave a comment down below. Let's get the fuck out of here. I got a copy of Cable Guy on Blu-ray. I'll see you there. Peace.